Hello, Supercars in Seconds here. Well, today we've got a rainy day, the roads are soaking wet, so a bit tricky to bring out an 800 horsepower McLaren, so I thought I'd bring out a Dodge Charger SCAT pack. This has the big 6.4 V8, but really a lot of fun in the rain. We're going to mess around with the traction control and see how she does. It does keep you awake. So the SCAT pack name goes back a long time. It's sort of always been a sort of performance-based type of the regular production cars. 1968, the Dodge Charger, there was the Coronet, there was Dart, there were several models at that time. And you got your SCAT pack name if the vehicle achieved a quarter mile in under 14 seconds. So they use various performance components to make the cars achieve that. The modern car is a 2019. This one's 12.4 in the quarter mile, so quite surprising for a great big heavy car. Again, you have to excuse me, the car being a little dirty. I like to always show them very clean, but she's a bit dirty. A little bit of cooling coming out of here. We've got the fixed wing on the back there, which overlaps onto the fenders, which looks kind of cool on the car. This is the 20-inch wheel option. It's got the gloss finish on it, and actually a similar color to the car. So again, please excuse the dirt. It's just from the roads being wet and spraying around. You see that big Brembo caliper, and this is a 14.2-inch rotor here, with ventilation and slotting. 13.8 at the rear. You've got the Goodyear, is the Eagle RSA 2 tire, but only a 245 section tire. So it's a great tire for long-term use, but of course with so much torque, it does tend to overwhelm it a bit. I'd love to try this car with like a 305 all-round, like you can get on the new wide-body car. So new for 2019 on the SCAT pack, they added these big intakes to help feed this big monster under here. I love the functional scoop in the hood. Really looks very aggressive when you're looking at the sides of the car. But lifting it up, we have that big 392 cubic inch SRT, powered by SRT it says. 6.4 litre V8, driving the rear wheels through that ZF transmission, of course, the 8-speed ZF that's in a lot of great cars. But 485 horsepower. The big thing I think is 470 pounds of torque. This thing will really hustle this big car along, and it is a big car. You're right at 200 inches long, so she's a big car. So driver's eye view, rather a nice look. Good thick rimmed steering wheel. The little paddles here, little half paddles, but they work pretty well. It is that ZF 8-speed transmission, so it runs pretty nicely up and down through the gears. The digital display is cool. I like the analog gauges, still very traditional rev counter with the red little markers there is kind of cool. But I think what's amazing in the car is the active display and so on, and the adjustability of the car in this price point. Of course, with the 6.4 V8, it's the SRT motor, but the SCAT pack does not get the SRT suspension and the bigger brakes. It does get Brembos, but not the 6-piston Brembos. There's a 4-piston Brembo up front. Down here we got the drive modes, launch control button, which is kind of cool, and lots of other little controls for air conditioning and so on. If I push drive modes here up on the screen, I can then select exactly how I set up the car. What's fun about it, if I go to custom, right there, that's it there, and then I can go custom setup and then pick and choose exactly how I want to set the car up, and it'll do it all for you. What I usually do, however, is go to track. You know me, I've got to have everything off, but then it does reduce our traction control a little bit, but it does seem to still be on, so it's just a nice setup. Further on from that, in the top left, it says performance pages. I'll touch that, and it takes a second to boot up. And what it gives me now is tons of information, much more information than you might think. When it wakes up here we go. Now I've got it in a dyno running, so I'll touch the gas, and and then it wakes it up. You can write my initials AM, it's just if I can get it going. But very cool, and it's obviously power, torque, and so on, and revs, RPMs. Let's go to engine. Then I get a circle showing power, torque, and oil pressure. So as I touch it again, it wakes it all up and shows me exactly what's going on. Very, very interesting there. G-force is cool, turning around, and it shows all the peaks that have been achieved and so on. Gauges, all these different things. It's really just a lot of stuff in here. Different timers and so on. And then back to a home screen. And it's really very, very impressive. Let's go back to dyno and give her a rev again. Just impressive stuff. Within the launch control, I'll go back out. I'm going to hit the little X. If I go race options, my launch control is currently set for 3,000 RPM, but I can change the revs that the car will launch at. It also has a line lock for warming up the tires if you go in drag racing. Not that I ever would, of course, or encourage that. I think that's a terrible thing unless you're on a racetrack. So on the main display, I can also control this center screen. So on my I got a little joystick here with the OK button and so on. If I go down one here, that'll go into tire pressures shown there. But if you see on a lot of the screens, they have these little tiny dots. I can scroll to the left and the right with now and show coolant temp, trans temp, oil pressure, oil life, or needs to get some oil change again, battery voltage, intake air temperature, engine torque, engine power. So very, very cool. Next one down, we have our timers showing all the recent best and so on. Let's go across this one. Now we got 0 to 100, eighth mile, quarter mile, braking distance, current G-forces, peak G-forces, lap timers, lap history, top speed. Oh, that must have been on a racetrack somewhere, I'm sure. And back to there. Down again, average MPG, super efficient, as you can imagine, with a 6.4 V8. And then, yeah, just a lot of cool stuff buried in the display. So we got her in track mode here. Maybe not a good decision in the rain, but we're going to find out. We're going to head down towards Batman's corner and see how she does. Great sound out of that big V8. And it is a big engine too. You can definitely feel the size of the motor. Pretty good. Bit of body roll, but not bad. It's a Bilstein damper on this one, a fixed rate damper. When you get to the SRT and the big Hellcat cars, then they become adjustable in those settings on the screen. Oof. Good torque. You really feel that torque. And the transmission, I actually like it automatic. Leaving it automatic, it's very responsive. So pulling away from a stop with a bit of lock on the wheel, it does keep you awake. It's an amazing sound. Considering that's a stock exhaust, what a fabulous sound this thing makes. Really nice. Let's do a little U-turn here, and I'm sure it'll grip really well. Almost got a little loose there. So heading down towards our right-hander that we always use. Good power, it really is. She's about 4.5 seconds to 60 miles an hour. Let's see how it does through this corner here in the rain. Let's have a look. Ooh, hello. Not bad though, not bad. Considering how wet we are, you know. Gosh, this thing is fun. It's really fun. The brakes have a good feel to them as well. It's really an enormous car that's just a riot to drive. It really is. So pulling off from a standing start, even though of course the wheels are spinning a lot today, the traction control works really well. It gives a little bit of slip, but doesn't intervene too much. It doesn't take all the fun away from you. To really enjoy this big monster moving around, it's more fun than you might think, I'll tell you. And for the money, this is just a great car. 175 mile an hour car for 40 grand. It's just incredible. That's not much traction today, but that's okay. So I've been messing around with the car and experimenting with it. And if you use the paddle shifters and get up around sort of, I'll open the rear window so we can hear it a bit. If you get up around 2,000 or 3,000 revs, touch the gas and lift off again. You get these amazing pops and bangs out of the out of the exhaust. I love it. It's really a good sound out of the car. They say this is a stock exhaust that really surprises me. Very, very good. Up in the middle of the rev range, it has a lovely little, like a rattle to it. Really a nice sound. Super aggressive. And I think that's the personality of the car. It's sort of a wide monster. Really a cool car. I've had so much fun in it today, and I think that's a big key to this vehicle. So many cars today are going to this electrification, and they're going to all-wheel drive systems for maximum traction, and I'm afraid it's taking away the fun. You know, as amazing as those big McLaren cars are, the top of second gear at 8,000 revs, you're going to jail. So to enjoy a car like this at lower speed and have it moving around, and really it's brought such a great smile to my face, and I would encourage you to try one. The big Hellcat has to be hysterical fun. A 200-mile-an-hour version of this car has to just be amazing. So that was the Dodge Charger Scat Pack, and what an amazing time I've had in the car. That's something that's getting forgotten. As I mentioned a minute ago, the cars today are so capable and so crazy. This was really fun. A real American muscle car, big 6.4 V8, close to 500 horsepower in this thing. Really made for a fun car. I enjoyed it very much. Please subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. There's a notification bell, just hit that, and when I post a new video, then you'll be one of the first to get it. I'm trying to post as many as I can, but of course with the poor weather we're having at the moment in Florida, it's a bit tricky to get the big cars out, but we're having some fun. I'm going to put down here some new videos. We've got I just did one on the 675 LT from McLaren. I'll put that over here, and I'll put over here another 500 horsepower sedan, the Bentley Flying Spur. Thank you. I'll see you soon.